Hi everybody, my name is Tuyet and today I'm going to be presenting our work to our blockchain combining proof of work and proof of stake securely. This is Zhou work with lay friend Jonathan Katz, Phuc and Hong-Sheng Zhou. Let's first start with some introduction about blockchain and Bitcoin in general. So blockchain is defined as a distributed database that is used to maintain a continuously growing list of records called blocks. Bitcoin is an application of blockchain. Bitcoin was introduced by Nakamoto in 2009. It is maintained by proof of work miners, and the underlying consensus mechanism of Bitcoin is called Nakamoto's consensus. Now, let's take a look at how Nakamoto's consensus works. As I mentioned before, the blockchain is maintained by a network of miners. These miners are connected via a semi-synchronous network. Each of them will locally store a copy of the blockchain, and they will work together to maintain the blockchain, including storing and adding new transactions to the chain. Let's say we have Alice. She wants to send some money to her friend Bob. So how is this transaction added to the chain and how does everybody agree on this transaction? To get everyone to agree on this transaction, we need to find a leader, and this leader will decide whether or not to add this transaction to the chain. But how do we choose a leader? Um, this question is not a very simple question. But Nakamoto answers this question in a very simple and elegant way. So let's just give everybody a puzzle, and the person who solves the puzzle first will be the leader who get to add the transactions, creating new blocks to the blockchain. This puzzle is called probable puzzles, and it is simplified to this hash inequality. You can see that the inputs of this hash inequality include the last block of the blockchain, which is the block P5 transaction and a random nonce. So here, the random nonce is actually the puzzle solution. The miners need to find a random nonce so that the outcome of this hash function on the inputs should be less than some difficulty target T, because the last block and the transaction are public and known to other miners. So if a miner finds a solution, other can easily verify it. Mm, because the hash function is unpredictable, so no one can predict the outcome of the hash function. No one can predict it without actually hashing the inputs. We are actually doing the work. So the only way to find the solution is to try every possible nonce. Here, if a miner finds a solution, he will create a new block including the transaction and the solution. And he will send the new block to other miners in the network. One of the primary concerns of any cryptocurrency is the issue of double spending. Alice could attempt to spend her money twice in two separate transactions. These two transactions will then be included in two different blocks, creating two different chains. So Nakamoto's consensus resolves this by asking miners to choose a block belong to the longest chain. Choose the longest chain. So eventually only one transaction, one block will be accepted by all miners. In order to reverse transactions and eventually successfully double spend, the adversary needs to form a longer valid chain. To prevent this, Nakamoto's consensus assumes that honest players control the majority of computing power, so that the adversary can never be able to generate a valid longer chain. To formalize this intuition, Gray Adder proposed three main security properties of blockchain protocols, which are common prefix, chain quality, and chain growth properties. The chain quality property means that any large enough chunk of an honest player's chain will contain some blocks from honest players. And the chain growth property means that the chain of any honest player grows at least at a steady rate. The common prefix property means that local chains of any players are the same except that let k blocks, where k is the security parameter. In Bitcoin, k is SIG, which means transactions will be confirmed after 6 more blocks added to the blockchain. Gray arrow and path arrow show that Nakamoto's consensus achieves the common prefix property if honest players control the majority of computing power. The main proof idea is that there will be one round in which exactly one honest player mines a new block. This miner will have the longest chain of length L+1, and after data rounds, where data is the network delay parameter, all miners will receive this chain. The only way that the adversary can prevent this by mining a block at each opportunity and send this to some honest players to prevent convergence. However, because the honest players have the majority of computing power, the adversary won't be able to catch up and honest players will eventually have the same chain. Why it is appealing to assume that the majority of computing power in a blockchain is honest. This assumption has been seriously challenged in recent years. For example, in 2014, the mining pool G-hash exceeds 50% of the computational power in the Bitcoin network. In 2017, one mining pool controlled 50% of the mining power in the Z-class system. Currently, many of the top Bitcoin mining pools are in China, and they have collectively controlled more than 60% of the mining power in the Bitcoin system. We then ask a question that, can we have a secure blockchain if the adversary controls the majority of computing power? Our solution is to combine proof of work and proof of stake. The idea is to use stake to protect the system in case the adversary controls the majority of computing power. Here we have two types of resources in our system, computing power and stake. We consider the case where the honest players control less than 50% of computing power, but sufficiently high stake in our system. So collectively, the honest players control the majority of resources. We then need to design a secure blockchain so that the adversary can't get any advantages if he has the majority of computing power. In this work, we propose a hybrid blockchain protocol that uses a combination of proof of work and proof of stake mechanisms. The security of the blockchain holds as long as the honest players control the majority of collective resources in the system, where these collective resources consist of both computing power and stake. Our protocol tolerates an adaptive adversary, which he can corrupt players anytime during the course of the execution. Our protocol can also resist a nothing at stake adversary, in which the adversary attempts to generate new blocks on multiple forks simultaneously. And our protocol resists long-range attacks, in which the adversary tries to create a longer chain, starting from the genius block that overtakes the main chain. Finally, we provide a rigorous security proof for our protocol. Also, our main idea is to have two coupled blockchains, one based on proof of work mechanism and another using proof stake based approach. We have proof work miners who extend the proof work chain and proof stakeholders who extend the proof stake chain. But of course, one entity may play both roles. These two blockchains are extended alternately so that their respective heights are always within one block of each other. So if Nakamoto's consensus is one hop protocol, then ours is two hop protocol. We can follow Nakamoto's approach to select proof of work leader, but then the next question we need to answer here is how to choose a proof of stake leader based on stake. Answering this question is not easy, since we need to make sure that the adversary cannot predict the future leaders. We notice that we have two communities, proof of work and proof of stake, and proof of work is unpredictable. We therefore can use proof of work blocks as biased random beacons to select proof stakeholders. Intuitively, proof of work blocks are unpredictable, so proof stake selection process will also be unpredictable. Our proof of work is similar to Nakamoto's proof of work. Our inputs include the last proof of work block and the last proof of stake block. Proof of work miners need to find a nonce from the nonce that satisfy this inequality. Once a miner found the solution, he will generate a new proof of work block including the solution. And then he will broadcast this new block to other players in the network, including the proof stakeholders and proof of work miners. The next hop in our design is proof stake hop. We also have a hash inequality for the pool stakeholder selection process. The inputs of this hash inequality include the new proof of work block treated as a biased random beacon, the transaction and stakeholder identity. So this stakeholder identity can be implemented by the stakeholder signature verification keys. Once a proof stakeholder is selected, he will create a new block including the transaction, his identity, and site with his unique signature. This unique signature can be implemented by the digital unique signature scheme. So why do we need unique signature here? We do need unique signature because we don't want a malicious player to generate multiple signatures, creating multiple blocks and try to send these blocks to other players to confuse those players in the system. Yes, we have a new proof of stake block. This block will be sent to other people in the network. And if honest miners receive multiple pairs of chains, he will take the chain pair with the longest proof of stake chain. And our main assumption here is that the honest players control the majority of collective resources. We have two types of resources in our system, computing power and stake. We consider the scenario where the adversary may control the majority of computing power, but minority of stake. We denote alpha as the total number of honest proof of work blocks generated by the honest miners, beta as the total number of malicious proof of work blocks by the adversary, alpha theta as the total number of honest proof of stake blocks, and beta theta as the total number of malicious proof of stake blocks. And this number of blocks should be much less than 1. That means most of the time no new blocks generated. We have four cases happen in our system. The first case when an honest proof of work miner finds new proof of work block which is mapped to an honest proof stakeholder. The honest proof stakeholder will generate the corresponding proof stake block faithfully. The total number of expected block pair including proof of work block and proof stake block in this case will be alpha alpha theta. The second case is when a malicious proof of work miner is mapped to a malicious proof of stakeholder. The malicious proof stakeholder may generate the block or just discard it. In this case, the total number of expected block pair is beta beta theta. The third case is when an honest proof of work miner is mapped to a malicious proof stakeholder As in the second case, the malicious Phuc stakeholder may just generate the block or discard it. The total number of block pairs in this case is alpha, beta, theta. The last case is when a malicious Phuc miner is mapped to an honest Phuc stakeholder. The malicious Phuc miner may publish the new Phuc block so that the corresponding honest Phuc stakeholder can generate the Phuc stake block or withhold the Phuc block and discard it. The total number of expected block in this case is beta, alpha, theta. We have four cases, and the assumption of honest collective resources that we need to make to solve our security is that the total number of expected block pairs from the first case should be greater than the total number of expected block pairs from the second and the third case. We don't need to consider the last case here because in this case, the malicious Phuc miner publishes his block, then the honest Phuc stakeholder will generate a new block pair helping to extend the blockchain. Under this assumption, we can easily show that our two-hop protocol achieves the chain quality and chain growth properties because the adversary cannot stop honest players from creating new block pairs, extending the chain pair. For the common prefix property, the proof idea is that after the publication of one new block pair in the system, in the upcoming two data routes, other honest players will have the same best chain pair. The adversary can prevent this by create new block pairs, but in the long run, in the long term, he won't be able to catch up, and there won't be opportunity for other honest players to have the same view. We notice that our two-hop design can also achieve the adaptive security because in the first hop, the Phuc hop, it is already secure against adaptive adversary. The second hop, the identity of the Phuc stakeholder who can extend the chain is hidden before it's published the new block. And once the new Phuc stake block is published, it is too late for the adversary corruption to take any effect. Also, our protocol can resist against nothing state attack. The reason is that in our two-hop protocol, the Phuc stake chain is built on the Phuc blockchain, and in general, it will have fewer forks. And the last one, our protocol can resist against long-range attacks. It is because although creating a longer Phuc stake chain might be feasible, but creating a longer Phuc chain is computationally infeasible for the adversary. Thank you for listening my presentation.